So today we are going to see about DNS protocol. DNS is nothing but domain name server protocol, and it is an application layer protocol. So how humans will be usually referred? Humans will be referred through their name. There are different ways. One is through their name. Then through employee ID we can refer the humans. Through their PAN card we can refer humans. Through Aadhaar card they can refer the humans. So these are the different ways of referring a single person. But which one is flexible? These employee ID is a numerical. Similarly, PAN, Aadhaar, everything are numericals. Whereas the name is textual representation of a person. So humans usually prefer this kind of representation, which is nothing but textual representation. Since humans are well versed with the textual representation, they go for representing persons through their names rather than their employee ID or through their Aadhaar card or PAN card number. So similarly, how will we refer a server? For example, if we want to refer a server, we can refer either through their web URL or through their IP address. So these are the two different ways of referring a server. So humans, we usually prefer textual way of representing. So we go for representing through URLs. For example, if we want to represent Facebook, we usually go for www.facebook.com. Whereas computers doesn't know these textual representation. So computers refer the server through the IP address. For example, if this is the corresponding IP address of the Facebook, your computer refer through this particular IP address. So how to map this numerical textual term to the numerical term? That is done with the help of this particular protocol, which is nothing but DNS protocol, and it is an application layer protocol. So we have a special type of resolver called as DNS resolver. So DNS resolver is nothing but it is like a translator which converts your URL into IP address. So this is nothing but it acts like a translator, converting the URL which is in the textual representation into an IP address which is a numerical term. So computers use this particular IP address to connect to the server. So let's dive into this particular DNS protocol's working. So whenever we type inside a browser, for example, we want to open a Facebook, we usually type www.facebook.com. This is what we give in our host system. So host system, what it does, it contacts our internet service provider. This is the person who provides us the internet service, and this particular person forward this to DNS resolver. So what we have done, we have asked for www.facebook.com. So we have to open this particular website, but I doesn't know the IP address of this particular website. So I rely on the DNS server. My ISP provider has contact me to the DNS resolver. So what does this DNS resolver do? It has certain things in its cache memory. So whatever have frequently web surfed, those IP address will be stored in the cache. For example, if you have web surfed www.google.com, its particular IP address, for example, if this is the IP address, it will be stored in the cache memory of this particular DNS resolver. Similarly, all the things, for example, if you are asking for Yahoo Mail, its IP address will be stored. Similarly, if you have asked for some other websites like ChatGPT, all these things, whatever has been web browsed, all these web browsed addresses and their corresponding IP address will be stored in the cache memory. So, for example, I have requested for www.facebook.com. It will enter into this DNS resolver. It will check with its cache memory whether there is corresponding IP address for this particular www.facebook.com. If it matches, it will give the IP address. If not, it will contact the detail to the root server. So root server is the top level hierarchical server. So this DNS resolver will contact the root server asking for IP address of www.facebook.com. So this root server, it doesn't know the IP address of this www.facebook.com. Rather than that, it knows to whom it has to contact to get the IP address. So it will say that you have to contact .com TLD server to get the IP address. So what my DNS resolver will do? It will contact TLD server. TLD is nothing but top level domain server. So it contacts TLD, in particular .com TLD server, to get the IP address of www.facebook.com. So this TLD server, even this TLD server doesn't give you the IP address. Rather than that, it will say you have to contact facebook.com authoritative server to get the IP address. So that information reaches your DNS resolver. DNS resolver will contact, this is nothing but authoritative server. Which authoritative server? It is nothing but facebook.com's authoritative server. So our DNS resolver, it contacts authoritative server. This authoritative server, which is facebook.com, will give you the IP address of www.facebook.com. For example, if the IP address is 25.7.3.1, this information will reach the DNS resolver. So once the information has reached the DNS resolver, it gives this particular IP address to the host system. What is the IP address? IP address is 25.7.3.1. So this information has been passed to the host system, which has requested for facebook.com's IP address, and it will store this information in its cache memory. So facebook.com's IP address will be stored in the cache memory. So whenever any other host system contact this particular DNS resolver, then DNS resolver will check from its cache memory and fetches the facebook.com's IP address. Then this particular host system will contact the web server with an IP address of 25.7.3.1 and get the Facebook web page. So this is how the DNS protocol works. So DNS protocol, it is like a translator which converts the human interpretable URL into an IP address which is understood by the computers. So whenever we contact our server with this particular URL address, or we call it as a domain address, this domain name will be mapped to the IP address with the help of this particular DNS protocol. So this is the use of the DNS protocol, and this is how it works. And this process we call it as a iterative process. So this is how our DNS protocol resolves this particular query by giving you the IP address. Thank you.